Hello, hello everyone. Welcome in, welcome in. It's nice to see you all. How are you doing? Hope you're all getting on very, very well. Guess who, Rua? Curious on who you think I am with the new name change. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, let me say hi to everyone while I think. Hello, Sari, always looking after us, our favorite bot. Hello, Casey. Hello, Puaru. Hello, oh, thank you guys for the head pats and the stretch and hydrate. I was sipping at my tea. I was doing art when the notif popped up. Oh, I hope you enjoy doing your arts. Your arts. Hope you're drawing some cool stuff. Lumixrius. Lumixerus. I think that's right, yeah. Lumixerus. Who you think you are? I'm trying to think. I'm kind of cheating a little bit by. I'm kind of cheating a little bit by looking at your following. Oh my god, I can't think. I will lurk after poems, feeling sick, so I'll just be listening. Oh, after poems, you were doing poems. That's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. But I'm sorry you're feeling sick. I wasn't feeling the best a few days ago. I wasn't feeling the best a few days ago. I ate some food that just didn't sit well with me. So I understand. I hope you're doing okay though. I hope you're doing okay. Hmm. Oh, I'm trying to think who this could be. Oh wait, is that wait. Mm, I'm trying to guess off of the way they're writing, which is a weird thing to do. But certain people they don't capitalize things. You're here pretty regularly. Mm, some people always have very specific grammar. Mayume, you're often very quick to join. Well, Mayume is often very quick to join streams. Aye, hey, look at that. I'm smart. I'm smart. I'm a smarty pants. Sorry, once again, my microphone isn't cooperating. There we go. I'm a smarty pants. I'm a smarty pants. I thought we were doing Morrowind, but I forgot we weren't. Nope. No Morrowind today. I'll try and stream again tomorrow because there's a strong likelihood that I won't be around on the weekend, unfortunately, because I will be going away for a few days. Just going somewhere, nothing crazy. I'll be back on the Monday, so all good there. Don't worry, guys. Hello, Rory. How you doing? Still need to get a new sock for the mic. I really do. I need to I need to say to myself after stream, go order a new microphone stand and stop using a fucking cloth. The worst part is this cloth was really good for stuff, and now it has a bunch of holes and stuff because it's been in there all the time. Thank you for the stretchery. I may post later if there's a channel, but raccoon to bed. I think if you want to share your poetry, that would be very cool. If it's poetry you're reading and analyzing, books would probably be make the most sense. I think you would put it in art, your works. I think I have something like that, or your art, whatever it's called. Yeah, yeah. I think that's. I mean, it's a form of art. I'm doing well. Your vacation started today. Let's go, Rory. Wait, that means you finished your exams, right? So you're all done with your exams. So you're off for a while now. You enjoy the reading and Morrowind streams. I'm glad, Casey. I'm glad. I enjoy them too. They're very relaxing. Yes, I hope you did great. Does the chat get slower when the reading starts? Usually it does. Usually it starts to peter off after a little bit. Some people will jump in if there's a certain if the chatting starts up again, but usually it kind of slows down just a smidge. Today was your first graduation project presentation. What do you mean? No, Casey, don't pinch me. What do you mean graduation project presentation? Why do they got you doing stuff on graduation, Rory? After graduation is meant to be for you to relax for a little bit. You're going on a long weekend vacay. Why did I say vacay like I'm some hip, like, person from California? On a long weekend vacation, either this weekend or next weekend. That's very nice, very nice. We have a little thing planned. A group of me and friends. It would be sad if it was just a group of me. Well, actually, no. You know, if it was a group of me, multiple me's, we'd probably get along swimmingly. That's how engineering goes. That sounds rough, Rory. I'm sorry, but impressive engineer. Wow, wow. Can I have money? No reason. I'm not even doing anything for it. Can I just have it? When you get when you start building bridges and skyscrapers. But yeah, the next one is in November. Well, I hope it goes well. I hope you felt it, the fact that you feel like it went really well. I'm glad. Bet I'm not rushing anyone. But when does reading usually start? Reading usually takes me about like 45 minutes, 50 minutes, I would say, from stream start. Bet. Thank you. You're welcome. You did an amazing job. I'm sure you crushed your exams. Valley girl, Ruadh, very much so. Absolutely. If I spend too long talking to Daya, that's what happens to me. I start sounding like a Valley girl. Me and him need to watch Mean Girls, by the way. He loves that movie, and I've been trying to get him to watch it, but we've both been so busy that things just don't line up. But I have to message him again and be like, grabs you, watch a movie with me. But yeah, we have a little thing planned. That we're going to go down somewhere nice in Ireland. Kind of on the coast, very comfy. We were watching some Blood Moon gameplay the other day. What's Blood Moon? Wait, hang on. Blood Moon? No, game? Oh yeah. Okay, Slay Horror. Let me look at this. Is it like a... Okay, that's interesting looking. That reminds me of something, but I don't know what. It's kind of neat. Still had fun watching How to Train Your Dragon in Discord. Yeah, we need to do something like that again. Maybe that's something I could do this weekend. If I have a bit of downtime. That might be a nice little thing to do when I can't stream. Look, sorry, that's what it is. I thought it was a different game. But the Morrowind DLC Blood Moon. Yeah. Now I get you. I don't think I ever got there. I never got to that section of the game because I kind of I was playing my first playthrough and then it kind of petered out. Like, I feel like with Morrowind, and Skyrim too, with any of those type of games, if you play for a long time, get a really big character going, and then you step away for like a week or two and you try and go back, it's really hard to get back into playing with the same character. I think that's why so many people end up restarting so many times. You'll watch any of the How to Train Your Dragon movies except the third one. I did hear the third one was kind of poopy. Yeah, I think that's what you guys were telling me. The second one's very they're fantastic looking movies though. Hello, Haru. Hello, don't pinch me. Get off of me. Get off of me. Bitch. Poopy, where is it? It's in the toilet, you freak. I will continue my art when reading has started. Sounds good. The grab. Oh! Sorry. I forgot. I know it was... No, what happens is it goes in the Rua reminder. We need a Rua reminder channel. No, what happens, Haru, is I look at the Rua reminder. I go, oh, that's a really good idea. And then it's no longer lit up, so I forget about it. To be fair, I will say though. To be fair, this I'm jumping you. Oh, give me no. Haru, it's me with a name change. We were on a team together as friends. Oh yeah, can you guess? I guessed it, Haru. I guessed it. Let's see if you're as smart as me. Anyway, um, if you don't get it, fake fan or fake friend. That's what I'm gonna say. Fuck. God damn it. I wanted to laugh at you. But no, I was very busy. I was very busy this week. Still am a little bit, but yeah, that's why we're streaming on a Thursday. Like for the first time this week, that's not the Monday D&D stream. I'm gonna grab you. I'm gonna spam you with the grab. You're gonna be like Aaron Cell in D&D, just grabbing anything he hits. You're not a fan of bad language. Well, I don't mind bad language. I don't like it when it's superfluous. Like you can tell when someone is cursing for the sake of cursing. And what's funny about me saying that I don't like it when it's superfluous is that Irish people curse a lot very naturally. In like just in everyday conversation. Now, I don't think I curse too much. I feel like there's probably times when I've gotten very. Isn't that Scottish people too? They'll have very creative insults. Ooh, I loves pissing you off, so you curse at them. I do like pissing off chat. It's very fun, especially Haru. Oh my god, I thank God I didn't accidentally start streaming and unmute my mic because I was watching shorts. I was like having a cup of tea and some biscuits before stream, and I was like, I had everything kind of set up, but I was just relaxing, chilling out, and I was kind of flipping through shorts because, well, I'm brain rotted at this stage. Is it just me or does chat on stream have a slight delay? It does. And I don't know what the delay is on. It's not that long. It's not that long. It's because you guys are seeing. How would I describe it? Because it has to go through another site and then it gets put up on screen. But like, it's not that long. It's not long enough that like things will be out of sync. I'm a total brat with my friends. Rage bait all the time. I'm the rage baited. Well, you rage bait me a lot, so it's only fair. But anyway, I was watching shorts, and it went to a guy playing the piano in the Americans call them malls. They're big places where people a shopping center. And he's playing like, you know, diddle diddle doo diddle doo diddle doo doo do diddle doo 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 doo. You guys know the tune. You guys know the song, right? That was a perfect rendition, pitch perfect. But he didn't play that at the end. He played the opening, but he didn't play the next bit. He played the diddle doo doo diddle doo doo diddle doo doo. And then he played, and it was quite a funny bit. He played, how do I describe this? He played a song about a woman from a particular country that comes from a particular country in 1930s, let's say Central Europe. And some like the like it kind of it zooms in on some people reacting to the song being played. And I thought it was really, really funny. I thought it was really funny. And I watched it a few times. But what ended up happening was the song got stuck in my head. Casey, as I said before, I will get to your message after telling me my messages are not missed. Huh? I don't know what that's in reference to. Because I reacted to your delay thingy. I'm blanking. It's okay. I know you get like 3 hours of sleep, Haru, and then you wonder why you're tired. It's okay. Chat slow because the words gotta run from one screen to another. So true. They have travel time. But anyway, so I don't know if you guys. Okay, if you guys don't know the song I'm talking about, it's a song called Erica. It was a song made by Germany, within Germany, during the 1930s and 40s. I don't know the exact date, but that's where it's from. That's where it's from, and it's a very well known song. Kind of just it's kind of known as being that song. Um, Back in the early days of Twitch, when they were doing like you could pay to have your video come on screen, a lot of people would spam that. But that song got stuck in my head. So that's what your man played on the piano. And that got stuck in my head. And I was kind of like sitting here with OBS open, just humming that a little bit to myself. And then I stopped and I was like, wait a minute, Ruadh. Wait a minute. You can't be humming that on stream, potentially. What if I had accidentally... like, I was picturing I accidentally start stream and I'm like humming a song from National Socialist Germany with no context on stream. Zero context. It just opens up, it's on my like starting screen and I'm just humming that song. It'd be so over for me. It would be over for me, and no one would believe me when I said it. I literally, like, I heard it on a joke video. We likely wouldn't know what it was. I think it's I wouldn't say popular, but it's relatively well known, even among like meme communities. After my above message was missed. Are you talking about the never swear in chat? Well, that was kind of like a continuation of the not a fan of bad language. Casey, we like sometimes chats do go up, but like if the conversation is the same topic, it's fine that I don't read every single comment. Especially if I'm like telling a story too. I would please ask that you don't bring this up again, because it is starting to frustrate me. I understand that you may sometimes get concerned, but I try my best to give everyone the right amount of time when it comes to chatting. I hope this is the last time it happens. If I do genuinely just completely skip a message that is like... No, like, again, like, just give me time. I often do go back for messages. Good. Hello, legend. It's nice to see you. Give me attention, Unk. No, you don't. You know what? You don't get any attention. I'm banning you right now. Banning Haru. Instantly. Deleted. Deleting her from everything. Fuck you. I was actually thinking, I don't know. I was thinking of maybe commissioning Mike to make me... He's not here, so I can say this. I was considering commissioning Mike to make me like a Dunmer model. Not a model, but like a PNG maybe, like a Dunmer Ruadh. A dark elf from Skyrim, Morrowind. The guy. Wait, hang on. The guys that sound like this. I think it would be funny. Dun-ua, exactly, a Dun-ua. A Dun-ua elf. Yeah. Some people say that some people claimed I was an elf. They like claim my ears were pointy. You like the background? It is very pretty. I have a few like animated, like all my backgrounds that you guys see are all by like the same person. They do an amazing job, and it's relatively cheap. You can get like 6 of these for like $30. They'll eat your ears. No, I like my ears. You're not allowed to eat the points if I'm an elf. But I want to do... I want to do like I want to do Dunmer ASMR. You're an outlander in Morrowind, and I'm taking care of you, making you suffer with ear. Get the. If I was an elf, I'd have like enhanced hearing, so that would be even worse. That would be even worse, Haru. What if I like turned my head and like stabbed you with the point of the ear though? I could give you like a tongue piercing with my ear. That reminds me of that guy from Smiling Friends with the really long nose. Girl. Female. Actually do, it's free, right? No, it costs money. I stab you in the eyeball because like maybe I miss and then I get your mouth and you still have to pay me like $30. Never mind. But yeah, I think it would be really funny if I did. I wouldn't be able to do it the whole time because I don't have like the vocal dexterity for it. But no, wait, hang on. Can I get it? Do I not have it? Yeah, I can't really get it in the throat properly tonight. Outlander, why do you bottom? No, I can't get it properly. I don't have the Outlander. Why do you? It's like weak. The growl is weak. It feels anyway. But I could do like a Dunmer ASMR. He insults you while taking care of you. Elves are so pretty though. Elf Halloween maybe. Hello Lila, please get you out. Out of where? I can't get you out if I don't know where I'm getting you out of. Elves are so pretty though. They can be. They can be. The Elder Scrolls elves though, Skyrim elves can look kind of weird sometimes. Orsimer best mer. I feel like the other mer races do not want to associate with Orsimer. I feel bad for those guys. Their whole history after becoming Orsimer, their whole history is try and make Orsinium. It gets destroyed. No. That makes it sound like they're just like frolicking in the grasses of High Rock and all's well and they're having fun and then they get destroyed. No. It's usually random orc boss gets really strong. Strong tribe conquers more strong tribe. Make Orsimer kingdom. Begin raiding the Bretons and the what were they Kudins at that point? No, the people from Hammerfell. What are they called? Redguard, that's it. Raid the Bretons and the Redguards. The Redguards attack, the Bretons attack and loot Orsinium, destroy it, and then it happens like every 200 years. That's basically the fate of the Orsimer kingdoms. There's a glitch in Skyrim where after you kill an NPC, their body stands up and starts walking. It's very funny. I've never seen that one before. I've never seen that one. I've seen the walking armor stands. I've seen the armor stands like start moving. Your whole body hurts. You didn't leave your bed today. Your one side of Twitch does Subnautica 2, which I don't want to see before I play it myself, and the other talks about key usage in building and update software and websites, which I never need in my life. I thought when you said key, I thought it was like, meditation. Then you started mentioning software on websites. Couldn't care less about AI key and website shit. The creepy mannequins. I remember the first time seeing that happening. It was very. I did not like it. It was scary. Right, because they're walking around with your armor. It's like these guys turn towards you with like the best, coolest armor. But I was watching some really good videos in bed last night. I was watching AI play Monopoly. 5 AI play Monopoly, I think it was. And it was like Gemini, Grok, ChatGPT, Claude, and Kimmy? Yeah, Kimmy. And the deals they were making were fucking incredible. Were absolutely incredible. Fuck all those. I see. I do understand why, especially in coding stuff. It's like you click a button. Watching the computer fight itself is funny. It is. But like literally this like so your man was skipping forward whenever they do a deal. So you just see them going away. For one sec you look away and a moving mannequin is in your face. That's what it is. Roll it down, take a bulldozer, you're gonna become what was the was it Killdozer? Wait, what was his name again? Marvin Heemeyer. That was it. The guy who like took a bulldozer and put a bunch of plates on it and made it huge. A man will die, no, but not his idea. But it was incredible, I will say, because at one stage, at the very beginning of the game, they're going around and they're purchasing stuff. And I think it was Grok offers Gemini a trade deal. So in Monopoly, if you guys have never played Monopoly, you have to get all of the colors of a certain street to be able to build houses on it. And you get a monopoly over those streets. So you want to collect them, and that means that when people like start buying up streets, if someone has a yellow and another person has a yellow, they might do a trade to get the other yellow. They might give them money, they might give them another street that's more advantage, etc., etc. So Grok, I think it was Grok, offers Gemini a trade. He goes, Gemini, give me your yellow so I can continue to work towards the monopoly on yellow. In exchange, I'll give you my yellow and $100. I'm blanking. What AI fanfic am I listening to? You're listening to AI play Monopoly. The game where you have the board and you go around it and you collect Go money and then you buy properties. So he basically just, I have Gemini on my phone and I never use it. I use AI for like the odd, because it's very good for searching for things or for skimming through documents with no reasonable end or win condition. Win condition is just getting lucky and making sure you land on the right spaces. And making good trades, I guess. What if we played Monopoly? What if I should get like some VTuber friends and we can try and play Monopoly. Yeah, that's unreasonable. See, he's a bitch that reads my messages. He's so mad. Does she just insult you, Haru? I could understand why. I could sympathize with Siri. You want to ruin your friendships? Well, I'll get it like, I'll make it with people who I'm not friends with. I'll open it up to people I've never interacted with and be like, hey, do you want to play Monopoly? And that way, if the friendship is ruined or the relationship is ruined, it doesn't matter. Hi, Sochi. Hello. You want to make enemies? Yes. I want to start making... I think that's the only way to grow as a VTuber. I got to start making enemies. So I can start having Twitter beefs. And we can start, like, jabbing at each other. And I can, like, post cryptic, vague DM or vague tweets being like, I can't believe you do this to me. And no explanation. And everyone would be like, oh, I'm so sorry, what happened? I'll be like, I can't talk about it. It hurts too much. I can't talk about it, but thank you. It's so sweet of you that you care. Love you. And I'll say, love you so much. I'll say ILYSM. Love you so much. Wait, no. Did I say YLIS or something? What the fuck did I say? ILYSM, that's it. Thank you for the headband, legend. Hello, Jackie boy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1. Welcome in. Yeah, you do. That's just because you gooned the male Siri voice. What? No. What's the Siri deep voice? I don't use any of the chat bots. Thank you, Sochi, for the headband. I don't use any of those. To Vas? No, what's Vas? What's VAS? VAs? Visual novels? I understand. That's crazy. VAs. Voice actors? I see. I see. Aha. Aha. Well, you are a fan of VTubers, so that makes sense. You like voices. That makes sense. Yeah. So you're saying, Haru, if I make a voice pack, you'd buy it. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be that type of voice pack, but if I made a voice pack and I sold it, you'd buy it. Okay, good to know. Good to know. I need human slop, not AI slop. You went to switch Twitch to follow an ASMR V AS what, yeah, to follow an NSFW ASMR VTuber. I feel like a lot of people have done that. That's fine. I'm proud. I love that emote. I always love that emote, Sochi. It looks so silly. The Rua voice pack does not speak directly to you. It's gonna be. It's my voice pack would be like the scenarios would be like I'm inviting you for dinner, for like to cafes, we're like on a walk together, but like all I'm doing throughout is talking about like a significant other, or like this person that I'm going on a date with after I finish meeting you. It's just NTR. It's it's light NTR. If you made ASMR stories, I could sleep. I would die laughing. You're such a bitch, bro. I hate you. You love me. You love me, which will make the NTR voice packs all the stronger. You couldn't sleep. I assume that's what you meant. He's just laughing and hollering. I'd be a loud boy. I'd be a loud boy probably. Remember, guys, this is ASMR. Me laughing and chuckling and myself is ASMR. I think you'd die laughing before recording a single line. Probably. No, but it wouldn't be anything explicit though. But I would have to. It would take some time for me to correct things. I think. Because yeah, you're right. I struggle with that. I struggle with that. With not like thinking of something funny while doing things. Because I'd be like half following a script and I'd be half riffing on things, like just off the cuff, and it wouldn't go well. Took you near hour to for good bad X bro. I got better though. I got better at that. As I've done it more, it's now it only takes like maybe 10 minutes to get it out of me, rather than like the hour. You had a video of a German guy doing ASMR in English, and I couldn't hold myself back. And then I found one German one, and he made you woof woof bark bark. So in German, he's a whore. I see. I see. Sure. No, I'm like really good at that stuff now. I could go into normal ASMR, and I could just start being like a male whore on stream these days. Absolutely. I could absolutely gather that type of audience where I just in my mouth German voice. Yeah. What if I started doing the German? What if I started doing the German ASMR, huh? Eh? Would that not be good? I think that would be very good. Suddenly I'm Dracula, apparently. You're drawing your art as you listen. I hope your art's going well, Casey. Good, bad. Of course, laughs a lot. Adjective, good. Subject, bad, Haru. Och, ne, ni, warum fick das? Haru. You're with your two BFs. Shush you. Wait, I want to hear. Wait, have I heard? I think I've heard Fua speak in German. Not much though. I gotta hear him speak it. I want to hear how different he sounds. Okay, fine. Haru, do you want German, poor German accent, good Haru, or do you want normal good Haru? We'll do this. I'm doing this once, no more, no more. You're not getting it anymore for this stream. But it's just because I'm like in a good bad Haru. Good bad Haru. Wait, no. I need to get into a German accent. What the fuck do Germans sound like again? Gut schlecht Haru. Is that wait? Is that good bad Haru in German? What is what? Schlecht. That doesn't sound. Schlecht. Yeah, schlecht is a weird looking word. Gut schlecht Haru. Good schlecht Haru. Good schlecht Haru. That's not German. That's like Norwegian. That's like Scandinavian. What am I doing? Skalk. Guten Tag. that's just the Austrian boy from The Simpsons at the end there. Your BF 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 BF. That was a Skrillex song right there. That'll be 5 Grammy awards. Thank you. Is a word for licking a popsicle or something. I see, and I'm sure that's not used in many other different ways. That makes sense, though. I mean, like, why did I click? He's gonna lick a popsicle. I was looking at a popsicle today. I was looking at nice ice cream today. It was very tasty. Hang on, let me do something. You bite ice cream. I also bite ice cream from time to time. And schlecht is bad. I see. So you change things slightly. You bite the ice cream from the cone up. Well, that's just that's no. You only do that at the end after you've gotten like most of the way down the ice cream, and it's like starting to flatten out on the top of the cone. Then you crunch. Then you crunch on the bottom, and you suck the ice cream through like the hole you've made. You've made like a cone straw, and you suck the ice cream through. That's what you do. You don't start from the ice cream. Where are you going to hold it? Are you just going to end up holding a block just a cup of ice cream? Schwanz is also fun. 3 meanings, and you can use them well. You can't tell me what to do. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Actually, I can tell you what to do. I can't make you do it, but I can tell you what to do. Stick G fingers. You motherfucker. Unfortunately, I forget that you guys can make me do things sometimes. God damn it. Okay. I'll do some push-ups. We'll do some push-ups, and then we'll get into the reading. How about them apples? Those aren't apples. Those are push-ups. What are you talking about? Doesn't make any sense. You're stupid. You're fucking dumb. Motherfucker, making me do fucking push-ups. Add squats someday, please. Will squats even sound that bad? Because I can pretty comfortably squat pretty heavy weight, so I just be going like, I'm not those people that can't squat. Like, I am doing near ass to grass squats right now, and it's barely affecting me. Now, I'd probably have to do like 50, and then I'd be very upset. I'm gonna laugh if I hear your pants rip. No, because I don't wear pants. Look at the model, dummy. Sorry, if my mic was really bad for a second, I think I accidentally unplugged it. Okay, let me do the push-ups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. If you ever need them, schwanz means tail. Dick, and you can use it as a mean word to someone you don't like. I see. Ruadh skips leg day. I have unfortunately have to really pull back on leg day work. Proper like squatting. Because if I put the bar across my neck, it really flares up those issues. So I'm kind of like, I still do deadlifts, and I'll do, what's it called? Like the machine leg work, but I can't do, annoyingly, like barbell squatting. I'll need to find a place for a hex bar, I think. Because where I'm at doesn't have one. And if I had a hex bar, I could at least do hex bar squats. Or maybe I should really look into front squats. 240 on the leg. I actually never really did the leg press. I never used that machine, so I have no idea what I could squat with it. My heaviest squat was... I'm going to look in a flashbang. What? First one in my family that has to read this. Letting his thing out. Oh no. Use it and give us the info. What the fuck? Okay, fine. But like, I haven't done heavy squatting in ages. That's the only machine I can't do basically anything on. Oh, you can't do? Wait, what do you mean? I'm confused because you said 240. Oh, you can do anything on. I see. But yeah, the heaviest squat, like barbell squat that I did, was 3 plates for, I think it was 3 or 4 squats. No, yeah, it was 4 squats. And then it went down to 3, and then it was like 1 on the last set. But my working, that was kind of like as I was pushing up heavier. Which isn't bad. 3 plates is like a very good baseline, like long-term goal for a guy, I would say. Even girls can get their leg squats up pretty high. Obviously, powerlifter women are a completely different story. But yeah, like it's the upper body where it'll definitely be more difficult. But what else? I had a pretty good shoulder press at my strongest. I think it was 70 kg. 70 kg shoulder press for 2 reps. I think I did 110 kg bench. Girl, you can shoulder press me. What the fuck? That was my aim, Haru. My aim when I was like really into shoulder pressing, and I can still do a decent, again, you guys know that I don't have the best neck and shoulder situation these days. I can still do like 55 kg pretty comfortably. I'm going to try and push up into the 60 kg again. The fuck are you talking about? I have decent shoulders. Neck and shoulders, knees and toes, yes. But what about what about cheeks and elbows? Didn't think about that one, did you? Hi, carrier. Go push some cars or some shit. No, I don't want cars. Yeah, my chest, I always found a struggle to push my chest. Once I got through like a plateau on chest, it actually started going pretty quickly. Meh. With your cheeks, are you? Well, you should. You should lift with your glutes. Your glutes are one of your big. Your gluteus maximus is one of your biggest muscles in the body. It's very strong. Please never push cars that are in one gear. I won't. I'll be very careful about that. You could rip them apart. But wait. What if I want to feel big and strong, Lila? What if I want to feel like a big and strong man? So, like, I don't live in the US, so I can't, like, punch through a wall without breaking my hands. I was thinking about face muscles. No, Karen, no. I was talking about the buttocks, the booty, the dumpster, the clapper, the cake. Yeah, Haru. The that's all I can think of. That thing, yeah, the thing. Back boob. No, see, Haru, as a, and you guys are gonna learn something. I think I probably said this before, but maybe some of you are new. As a, we'll say, connoisseur, to make it sound fancy, of the hips and the lower portion of things, I would not regulate it to the back boobs. You push them apart, you're losing the timing belt. With that, you could loosen it so much it could not grip back on right on the car. Then it makes it go boom, boom. Please don't. I won't. You can still lift weights with that, right? Just make sure your waist or back is strong, though. With your... With which, though? Which are you talking about? Are you talking about your face, like your face muscles? You could do something like that. You probably like you'd have to like clip weights into your face and then like really intentionally smile really strongly or something. That'd be kind of dumb. That thing is your D, bro. I see. I gave up on my art. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope we managed to get... I was actually just about to... I was looking at the timing and I was like, it's time to get into the reading. It's time to get into the reading and move past this clearly ASMR topic, by the way. You're talking cake now. Ah, I see. Lift weights. Oh yeah, 100%. There's a specific exercise called hip thrusts, which, as it sounds like, you sit with your back against against like a step or a bench, ideally something padded, and you place the barbell across like your hips where your body hinges, and then you lift it and you drive through your butt. You lift it that way. Remember your book. I am remembering my book. I have it in my hands. French people roll around cars that are in the way. I've seen that before. If I saw someone do that to me, I'd be so pissed off. That's why if you visit France, you never park with your gears in or your brake pulled. They will rip it apart. Can chewing gum help your cheeks? A lot of, like, there's all those, like, jaw sizer things. I mean, I don't know about the muscles in the face, but I assume if you were really persistent on it, you could probably do something. But, like, if... I don't know. It's hard. Languages help facial muscles a lot. I have no idea. You'd probably have to, like... You probably just have to sit there doing stupid faces. Like, really stretching and... like, opening and feeling every muscle. Took a certain way. Oh, yeah, because I saw a tweet. I saw a tweet where it was like... Someone was talking about a white person that they knew that grew up in Japan speaking Japanese, and he said he was the most Japanese-looking white person he's ever seen. And someone said in the comments was like, because he speaks Japanese natively, so it's changed his face. I don't know how real that is, but it kind of plays into what you were saying. I'm giving you tips here, and Haru asks if chewing gum helps your cheeks. I can't. Well, Haru's gotta know. Well, you're the smart guy. You gotta know. I don't know. Like, I intuitively understand something. Yeah, that's it. If someone says something that's true, I can instantly tell if it's right or not. Just don't like be specific. You gotta be very, very vague and general, and it has to be about things that are self-evident. Then I can intuitively do it. Exactly. Anyway. Then is 1 plus 1 equals to x to the power of 2. What the fuck? Is 1 plus 1, which is 2, 2 equals to x to the power of 2. Is there anything when squared equals 2? I don't think so, no. Because 1 to the power of 2 is 1. But it's been a long time since I've done maths. Don't make me do it. So we got a trigger request, so when you got to pull on those. I feel like I'm doing my art wrong, so I gave up. I think a lot of people go through that. I remember how you talked before about like being an art burnout. I've seen various friends be an art burnout. Or like even just struggling to make time. It can be tough. It can be tough. Anyway, I'm going to get into the reading today so we can listen to me do stuff or talk about things. When last we finished off, we had discussed about the Brian Boru's family that kind of came before him and laid the foundation. Now we're going to be talking about his wives and children, and yes, that's wives, because back then they could take multiple wives. I say as I draw on your doll's face. I hope it's nice. I hope it's a pretty drawing. Okay, let me see if I can get this, because I want to be able to sit back. Can women take multiple husbands? I don't know. I don't think so. That doesn't seem like something they'd allow in ancient Ireland. Sorry, hang on. My microphone. I need to buy a new one. I need to just buy a new one. Okay, well, I'll just have to make do. I'm going to lower... There we go, okay. I'll pull in like this so I can lie back a little. Read. Man whores. True. Well, you gotta be. When one in every 2 people die, you kind of gotta make sure, like, as children, you gotta make sure you have loads of them. Where's your rag under your mic, bro? It's in there, but it's been getting worse. You know the feeling of not wanting to look at in the bank? I've had it before, but thankfully I've been in a decent position for a while to save a lot, so no, not recently, thankfully, and I apologize that you have to deal with that. I hope you're able to find a situation where you're able to not be financially burdened. I may be lurking most of the time, but I'll still be listening to the reading. That's good to hear. Me right now, guys, please do your best, budget accordingly, stop spending $600 a week on dolls. That's not to anyone specific. Thank you for the lurk. Anyway, let's get into our book reading for tonight. Brian Boru's wives and children. We know of 9 of Brian's children's sons. 6 sons, Mirchud, Donal, Donca, Taig, Cruhur and Flan, and 3 daughters, Sive, Slán, and Bebin. The evidence suggests that he was something of a serial monogamist, if not a polygamist. We know of 4 wives, all, one assumes, political contracts. Thank you for reminding me about my book. Amazing they had that sentence in there. I didn't even have to say it. Anyway, where were we? All, one assumes, political contracts rather than love matches, although we do not know the sequence of the marriages. The temptation is to try and match them up with political needs at a particular junction in Brian's career. If he was born in 941, his first marriage was probably arranged for him by the 950s, at a time when his older brother, Mat Gamon, was trying to hold on to the kingship of Dal Caish in face of the internal rivalry that had led to the assassination of their brother Lochna. A martial alliance with a neighbour who could offer assistance and protection was therefore a desideratum for the family. And it was probably at this point that Brian married Moore, daughter of Aidan MacClearig of the South Connacht dynasty, in Uaferoch Aidan, or Aidna. I'm boiling Dolua. Don't boil Dolua. What the fuck? It was not the most prestigious house, as none of its members had held the overkingship of Connacht for 250 years, but Moore's father, Eden, and grandfather, Cleric, were significant figures as regards lineage. Or Aden. From Aden are descended the U Aideen, O'Hain or O'Hines. From Cleric are derived the O'Clerig, O'Cleary or Clark. Then that the marriage with Moore came early in Brian's career is also apparent from the fact that of the three sons we know to have been children of the marriage, Mircud, Crochur and Flann, the best known of them, Mircud, who was killed at the Battle of Clontarf in 1014. Girl, you got me tweaking. Girl, I'm tweaking. Girl, I'm tweaking. What now, B? What are you guys talking about? Are you guys okay? You say you're tweaking. Are you guys actually on drugs? What's going on in my chat right now? Anyway, we're tweaking for real. I see. Well, can you tweak over there? We're bussing over. Don't say the word bussin' in my chat ever again. Where was I? I was here. Was old enough to have had a son, Terdelbach, who also fought and died there. If Mircud was only, say, 40 at that time, and one dubious source says he was 62, he would have been born in or before 974. You didn't move, the fuck you mean? Bussin'. Bus. Wheels on the bus. I gotta stop reading chat. I gotta start reading the goddamn fucking book and not read your brain rot over there. Both of you. In any event, we must assume then that the end of the marriage, perhaps only because of Moore's early death, did not lead to a breakdown in relations between Brian and his erstwhile in-laws, because one of the few non-Munster kings to die alongside him and his son Mircud at Clontarf was Mael Runaid Ua Aideen of Ua Feicruch Aedna, who was Moore's nephew and Mircud's first cousin. If we try and piece Brian's other marriages into sequence dictated by politics, we might imagine that he next married the most famous of his wives, Gormlai, who died in 1040. She had been married to Aimlib Cuaran of Dublin and York, who died in Iona in 981, at which point she would have returned to Ireland. A year later, as we shall see, Brian, now secure as king of all Munster, marched his armies out of the province for the first time and launched an assault on the neighbouring Osraig, and a Leinster alliance might have proved useful at this point. Gormlai's father, Mircud MacFinn, was head of the U Fellain, one of the three branches of the U Dunlain that alternated the overkingship of Leinster between them. He had died as overking of the province in 972, at which point the kingship went to the second branch, the U Meirdig, and then in 978 to the third branch, U Dunchada, or Chada, after which the conventional expectation was that the next overking would have been Gormlai's brother, Mael Morda. But when the U Dunchada incumbent died in 984, Mael Morda failed to secure it for his line, although Brian eventually installed him as king nearly 20 years later. Oh, where were we? Oh, yeah. It seems not unlikely, therefore, that Gormlai was married off to Brian at her brother's insistence in the early 980s, as part of the jockeying for position by these Leinster princes, and at a time when Brian was trying to expand his authority beyond the confines of Munster. Do we think Newton, is that the gravity guy? I blanked. Because I think he just put that gravity shit up to make... You think he put up that gravity stuff to make the gay stuff he was on less weird? Can't even talk about Newton no more. Hello, big chum. Welcome in. How's the chumbussy? I hope the chumbussy is very well. As we have seen, she had one son with Brian, Donca. who was of fighting age at the time of the Battle of Clontarf and died in Rome as a very old man in 1064. If we imagine him about 80 then, he would have been born in 984. Although the Koga has Gormla still residing at Brian's court in 1013, in the immediate prelude to the Battle of Clontarf, and helping to initiate it, as we shall see, by urging her brother Mael Morda to rebel, it seems more likely that they had parted ways by then. Norse sources, in fact, also painting Gormla as a malign force, have her becoming embittered with Brian following the proverbial acrimonious divorce. And there may be something to this, at least it may be that Brian's marriage to Gormla didn't last long. This is because Brian probably married the third of his wives, Aecred, not long after, assuming that these marriages did not overlap. As their son Taig died 1023, or Tadh, Taig, I'm going to say, had himself fathered a son, the future High King Terdelbach Brian, by about 1009, suggesting that Taig was born at the earliest, or the latest, in the early 990s. Do you guys think scientists actually love their kids? If they're like materialists, I would say no. If they're like a really hardline materialist, and they're like, everything's just atoms, bro, they don't actually love their kids, because their kids to them are just atoms. And the love that they feel are just neurons firing in their brains, under their own rubric, their own worldview. So I would say no, which is why I reject that. Anyway, do you guys think? Wait, no, I read that. Sometimes you get fried by your own actions. No, scientists can't love. Wow, that's mean. Cupid Eros hates me. Oh no! As a future major biology major, I agree. And their research only. Love their research and their research only. I see. Look at me. I have my action and rockets and wind power and I'm single. What do you eject? Eject? He actually despises me so much. No, you'll find love. Big chum, I believe in you. Cupid will shoot an arrow. He'll shoot like a bazooka arrow at you. And you'll find the love of your life. You just gotta believe. I'm jumping Cupid, don't worry. Aaron's gonna steal his arrows. Just start going around stabbing people at random. I remember that Amazing World of Gumball episode where they parodied fan fiction, where like the ice cream girl was writing fanfic. And like they did like a load of Gumball X Darwin stuff and a load of crack ships. That bee need to be jumped. She did. She was going way too crazy. If I don't, I'm gonna hit him because ooh look, I can get a hot wife named Psyche. But if you can't give me a hot ass guy. Where were we? Oh yeah, here we are. What is more, because Aecred came from an undistinguished background, it is probable that the political alliance that no doubt underlay the marriage was formed well before Brian's ascension to the high kingship. Her father was Carlos, son of Ailill Fiach, of the little-known dynasty of Ueda Odba. So obscure were they that we cannot say for certain where they were situated, although it was somewhere within the lands of the southern Unail. And perhaps the alliance was formed at about the same time that Brian first began to bring pressure to bear on the King of Tara, Mael Shocknail MacDonald, when he invaded the southern Unail territory in 988. The fourth of Brian's known wives was Dub Colbeg, who died in 1009, daughter of Catal Mac Crahur, king of Connacht since 973, and one possible occasion for such a union would have been about 992, when Brian can be found acting as a protector of the Connachtmen, retaliating against the aggression of the King of Tara. However, as Catal Mac Crahur was openly opposed to Brian as late as 1001, the marriage may in fact have sealed a rapprochement the following year when Brian finally secured the high kingship and obtained, among others, the hostages of Connacht. The guy showed her to her window and made out with her dark, stupid psyche and her now god immortality. That sounds very romantic, though. Huh? Lila, are you okay? I'm very confused right now. I'm trying to open it for 10 minutes and it has so much bubbles. I'm so lost, I don't understand. But okay. Where were we? It is more than likely, as has been the case around the world and through the ages, that these women, however aristocratic, were treated as a political vouchsafe by the men who had charge of their dynasty. And, just as Brian took wives to seal deals and to ensure goodwill and secure the peace, he did precisely the same with his own daughters. We only know of 3, but doubtless there were more. We have seen that Brian's brother Matgamon had been treacherously murdered in 976 by Mael Muad MacBrien of the Ornoch the Ratlind from the Bandon area near County Cork. And although Brian obtained revenge and killed Mael Muad in battle 2 years later, no, Banana, don't poke me. Don't poke me. Get away from me. Apple juice, but with sprinkly water. Oh, no. I said every single woman and man in Greek mythology was getting laid except for Hesta or Athena. Athena had better things. She had strategy things to be doing. Nice to see you, Banana. Hope your week's been good. Yeah, I want to try and finish this chapter, so I'm gonna have to do like a chunk of reading. So I'm covering you guys now. Nevertheless, Said was later given in marriage to Mael Muad's son, Cian, in order to secure the peace. Later, in 999, Brian slaughtered the Norse of Dublin in the Great Battle of Glen Mama, and when their king Sitruk, son of Brian's former wife Gormley, became Brian's vassal shortly afterwards, he was given Brian's daughter Slán as a wife to seal the deal. And it was presumably after Flairbatok, Unail, the rat. I always struggle with this word. Oh my god, hello Mick Morgan. Welcome in, welcome in. I hope you're doing very well. Thank you for the raid. What were you guys up to? What were you guys doing? Hope we had a nice stream. Welcome in, welcome in. Let me quickly shout out at Mick Morgan the Merc. There we go. It's nice to see you. Hello everyone, my name is Ruadh Uaquilta, a half-human, half-Tuatha, that being the god people of Ireland who lived in Ireland before the Gael arrived and drove them to the other world. We're doing a little bit of reading, some Irish history. Doing good, eyes on fire, jumped into stream right after work. Oh no, I always like having a bit of a rest after work. That's why I had to work until like 10 last night. That's why I didn't stream yesterday, because I was like, there's no way I'm streaming after a super long day. But I hope you guys had fun at least. Thank you very much for the raid. Where were we? Oh yeah. Flairbatok Uanail, king of Kinnail Noan, finally succumbed to Brian in 1010, that he acquired as his wife the third of Brian's known daughters. I always struggle with his name, Bibin, or Beeben, to ensure goodwill between contemporary Ireland's 2 polar points of attraction. Who is you? Brian is such a boring name. That's really funny. That's really funny. But it makes it easier for me to read. Brian is king of Dalkesh. Although we cannot be certain, you're the other Celtic VTuber. He's another Celtic themed VTuber. You make my heart shudder in accounting. Although we cannot be certain, it is likely that Brian stepped into his brother's shoes immediately on the death of Matgamon in 976, murdered by his old Ornoch rival Maid Muad MacBrien, having been delivered to him as captive by Donoban Matt Cahill of Uaquebra, both acting, the Koga says, at the instigation of Imar of Limerick. The picture the Koga presents of Brian and Matt Gamon at loggerheads, at least in relation to strategy, might at first arouse a suspicion that Brian rejoiced at, or even was complicit in, his brother's overthrow. Regicide was, after all, the oldest story in the book among the Irish, and yet the evidence shows that all three who took part in his brother's murder now became Brian's declared enemies, and he was ruthless and unflinching in wreaking his revenge. The Koga indeed comments that although his reign at Lent became bright, placid, happy, peaceful, prosperous, wealthy, rich, festive, giving of banquets, laying foundations, the beginning was full of battles, war, combat, plundering, ravaging, unquiet. Thank you very much. Wait, I missed that. Let me go see who that was again. Thank you very much, Warlock Craig, for the follow. Whoa, did I just find peak? Maybe. It depends if you also like at times when I get a little bit brain rotted by my brain rot fueled chat. Why is your back so hairy? You can with this. I have a part of my back. Also, thank you for the first time chat, and nice to meet you. That is that's like just randomly grows really thick with hair. It's like a strip of probably about, I'd say 4-5 inches. It's so frustrating. It's like on one side of my back and I have to shave it. Brian then went to drink a pint and watch his football game, yelling at his wife to finish his meat pie. This Brian guy sounds kind of based. Viewers are just like the streamer. Nope. I have to wrangle you guys. You guys are always mean to me. More fuel to the fire. Oh no. Why do I? Hello, Kaleido. Your brain rot. Why do I attract things like this? I like how I'm meant to be an ASMR streamer. And I just, like, other than the reading, which often gets interrupted, I don't see how this fits into ASMR. Maybe I should move over to reading and writing. Or writing and reading, as Twitch calls it. We're the one to go 6'7" while Ruadh size. Yeah, no, you are. All of you are. Where were we? Oh yeah. Within a year of his brother's death, Brian pursued the first of his enemies, Emer of Limerick, to the new haven he had secured for himself on the monastic site of Inishcaig, Scattery. Near the mouth of the Shannon, this is an island, basically, Brian's forces stormed the island, and which a contemporary chronicler considered a violation of ecclesiastical sanctuary, and killed Emer and his 2 sons, Amlaib and Duncan. So Amlaib is the Irish name for Olafur, and Duncan, the latter an Irish name found among the Dalcash, indicating their interconnection despite the Koga's depiction of black and white enmity between them. In the same year, 977, Brian fought the first actual battle of his reign when he led an army against the second of his enemies, Donabon mac Cahal of Uakerbra, and against the Norse of Limerick, and slaughtered the latter. The Koga adds the detail that this battle was fought at a place called Cahar Cuan, which is unidentified but was somewhere in the territory of the Figenti, or Figenti, in County Limerick, and that Donabon was killed in it, along with Arlat, or Haralder, son of Emer of Limerick, to whom Donabon had offered refuge when Brian defeated and killed his father. 88.9. If I remember correctly, doing some digging into my family's deeper roots, they were originally from Limerick before moving down to, and I have to say it like this or Burrick will scold me, moving down to Cork. Cork. Who? Cork. I guess there is parts of it where it does become Cork, but Cork. Corkonians, as they're known. Honestly, I should just time travel to Greek mythology to flirt with. You won't need to flirt with Zeus. He will flirt with you, just instantly. He'll see you and be like, "Yep." I call it Cork. He calls it Kark. No. Most people that I know would call it Cork. I just finished the lashes. I'm dead tired already. What are you talking about? What? What do you mean lashes? What are you talking about? Cass Copen? Olaf? Do you want to build a snowman? I wish I had some cool mythical culture to draw from, like the Celts, the Norse, or Greeks. Kaleido, you absolutely can like draw from stuff. Figure out where you're from. I don't know if you're like from the US, but you might be like a mutt of different things. So you can just like pick something and be like, yeah, that's me now. What time zone are you in, girl? I don't even remember. Oh my god, there's so many chats. I'm putting it in Discord. Oh, the lashes of the doll. I thought you were talking about like lashings. I pull the glorious hat trick of Scottish, Irish, and Welsh. That is a pretty good one. It's in your art channel. I'll take a look at it later. I assume I know what it is. Third world country with a bit too much money for military. Oh, why do you want to get lashed? Bro, I didn't say I want to get lashed. I'm just saying that's what came to mind. I know I have German heritage because your dad's side, but it was so far removed we didn't really grow up with German culture things. Ah, I see, I see. Makes sense. Where were we? Oh yes, here we are. You got big ass ankles. I might turn you into a bird for. And then the following year, 978. I have a lot of German friends. Kaz is a friend, and Fua is German. Isn't there another person I know who's German? I feel like there is. There's a few others. I know, obviously, Laya, you are. You may have to try and time travel to flirt with Zeus, but I don't need a time travel. German on your dad's side. Your dad's father's side. I see, I see. I believe I have some French Huguenot. Some French Huguenot on one side of the family. On a grandfather's side. Potentially, anyway. Potentially. There was a massive thing released recently of old, like, 19th, or not 19th, but like very old census data from a few generations back. It's really cool. You much rather have grandma's Irish, Toomey. Ah, Toomey. I know a few Toomeys. I know a few Toomeys. To be fair, you just know people. You know some connection to someone in Ireland, almost definitely. Sorry, let me get back to the reading, because if I don't, I'll never finish this book, ever. Where was I? Where was I? I feel like some people probably come there like, oh yeah, Rua's doing ASMR. I'm gonna be able to relax, and then I start talking about just silliness, and they like hate me. Imagine trying to like watch these, like you're interested in listening to the book, like on YouTube or something. You just have to deal with me. Read book. Thank you, Legend. I will. You did that, so now we read book. But no. And then the following year, 978, Brian was victorious in his second battle as king, the Battle of Bailloch Lecta, fought in Ballyhora Hills in North Cork, which therefore shows Brian still on the offensive. Before the battle, according to the Coga, Brian sent Corcoran, his confidential officer, Gilla Garada de Brian, as a messenger to Mael Muad MacBrien, the man who had murdered his brother, seeking the Éireach, or compensation payment that he owed Macgamon's kindred for dishonourably killing an unarmed king, and challenged Mael Muad to appear at Bailloch Lecta in a fortnight and a day with a full muster of his army. Mael Muad duly appeared with disastrous consequences for himself and his dynasty, because he was roundly defeated by Brian's army. The battle was significant not just because Mael Muad MacBrien was the man who had murdered Macgamon, and that Brian's defeat of him at Bailloch Lecta therefore was a culmination of his efforts to avenge his brother's assassination. More importantly, Mael Muad was the leading contemporary figure among the Oanukta, who would have considered Macgamon a usurper of the kingship of Cashel that his own Oanukt ancestors had monopolised for over half a century, or half a millennium. although his own particular line of descent was itself undistinguished, to say the least. Therefore, having killed Matgamon in 976, Mael Muad undoubtedly thought himself as Overking of all Munster, and is credited as such in the king lists and in his obit in the Annals of Inishfallen, even in the Koga, although the other annals call him merely King of Desmumu, or the King of the Uekuk branch of the Oanok the Ratlind. Oh, is that Bigfoot in the background? No, that's Brua. I know Brua is really big and scary, but he's just a piece of bread. He's just a piece of bread, it's okay. Girl, I'm so pissed right now. The delivery service said they missed me, so they didn't deliver. I didn't even hear the doorbell ring. I hear of that happening so many times. It's very annoying. You're very relaxed. I'm glad to hear, Casey. Schrodinger's bomb. Inside the bomb is a live bomb and an inert bomb simultaneously until you open it to find out. The thing about South America is that while we do have mythical creatures like the boogeyman, there isn't an extensive lore that isn't related to closed spiritual practices. Then you mail it and it becomes Schrodinger's pipe bomb. Just don't open the box. Exactly. If those guys that the Unabomber sent those bombs to, if they never opened them, they'd be fine. It was only when they opened the bomb that it become a bomb. Wait, do y'all say Schrodinger? Sillies can't say the Schrodinger. How do you pronounce that word? Are banshees from Ireland? That they are, Casey. Banshees are from Ireland. They pop up in folklore and stuff. Not oh, oh, oh. No, look. I might not be able to say it, but my nose and mouth can say it. Look. See, my nostrils, my two nostrils. Oh, and I can make an O in my mouth. Oh. We've never seen it written with one. Oh, hi, Sir Alm. Welcome in. I remembered it was Alm and not whatever I said the first time. AIM or something. AIM was probably it. You'll get an Etsy watch. Hell yeah. But Brian did not only defeat Mael Muad at Bealach Lecta, he killed him and slaughtered his army to the number of 1,200, the Koga claims, and in doing so, he killed off any chance of an Oanocta revival. He then took to hostages the province of Munster as far as the very sea, as the Koga puts it, and thus within 2 years of his succession as King of Dalkesh, Brian had made himself Overking of all Munster, and when Mael Muad's son Cian was later given Brian's daughter Sive, who died in 1048, in marriage, the acquiescence of the Oanocht in the new Dalkesh supremacy, or the acquiescence of the Oanocht in the new Dalkesh supremacy, was complete. I have spent 170 on vapes in 1 month. Guys, I beg you, do that. Please make a budget and figure out how much money you're spending. It's very important that you realize little things like that. Now, one of the reasons not to vape is so that when I'm walking behind you, I don't get a fucking cloud in my face every 5 seconds. I don't mind, as long as it's like a non-disposable vape, like one of the ones that you fill up, I'm generally okay with them. It's the disposable ones that I want to strangle because they end up just littering the ground. It's not as bad as it once was, but you still see them here and there. Brian as King of Munster. Brian presumably was the unopposed King of Munster from 978 onwards, but contemporary sources are strangely quiet about his activities for the next 4 years. The author of the Koga heard of a third battle against the Norse fought in an unidentified place called Fan Conrock, which does not seem to be mentioned in any of the surviving annals, but all is otherwise silent. We can assume he was strengthening his hold on the province and dousing what resistance remained to his new hegemony, and after 4 years of consolidation, Brian was ready to make his mark beyond Munster. If his ambition was to make himself supreme in the southern half of Ireland, otherwise known as Leith Moga, he needed the force or otherwise win the submission of the Lagan. The people of the great province of Leinster, and of their ambitious neighbours, the Osraig, who were the meat sandwiched between them and Munster. It cannot therefore have come as too great a surprise to contemporaries when in 982 Brian marched his armies out of Munster for the first time and launched an assault on Osraig. It was not too successful. He took great prey, praed mur, from it, presumably in the form of cattle, but even the Munster annals of Inishfallen admit that he lost a number of men. However inauspicious a start this was to Brian's interprovincial career, it seems to have got the attention of the new king of Tara, Mael Shocknail II, or Mael Shocknail MacDonald, head of the Clan Hallmain branch of the southern Unail. This is the man Brian would eventually topple from high kingship, but not before the lengthiest of rearguard actions over the next 2 decades. Make more money instead of budgeting. Guys, you need to be budgeting. Are you saying that if I spend more in a week than my weekly paycheck, I should somewhat alter that behavior? Guys, listen. Send me your breakdown, your budgets, and I'll look at them, and it will be like, Haru's will be like, standard stuff for bills and phone subscriptions and things like that. Then there'll be like 1,000 a month for the pretty boys on her phone, another 2,000 a month for her dolls, and then I'll be like, maybe you should stop spending so much money, and then she'll shout at me. How dare I suggest such a thing? Your country used to use the dots in a few specific words before they decided to go, nah, it's silly to keep that since so little words use it. The Audi S5 is not going to buy itself. Let's search your neighbor. Let's search. Now, can I not be searched? You budget 100 a month for dolls and 25 to 50 for games. I'm proud of you for budgeting, Haru, and I hope you're doing your best. I'm still trying to get into VGen so I can take more comms. Kaleido, I hope it goes well. You're playing a game while listening to the reading. Hell yeah. I hope it's nice and relaxing. However, here we were. In 982, however, the shoe was still on the other foot, and Mael Shocknail, having succeeded to the overkingship of the Unail over 2 years earlier, only 2 years earlier, and having enjoyed some spectacular success in the interval against the Norse of Dublin in particular, was determined to make a statement to Brian that Dal Caish pretensions to power were just that, pretensions. He therefore marched south from his base in County Westmeath, or perhaps sailed down the Shannon, and entering Dal Caish territory, made for Mag Éidir, the plain west of Tulla, in County Kildare, in which the Dal Caish held their Onuk, or assembly. Here, on an ancient site, perhaps a prehistoric burial mound, the dynasty also inaugurated its kings. As we have seen as part of the inauguration ceremony, a rod known as Slat Narig, the rod of kingship, was cut from the billa, or sacred tree there, and the handing over of this wand to the king during the unenkinging ceremony symbolized his new sovereignty. 6 years earlier, when Brian succeeded to the kingship, he would have received just such a symbol of office cut from that sacred tree. The theory was that without receiving such a wand at the beginning of his reign, the king of the Dal Caish had no authority to rule. It is highly significant, therefore, that the only detail of Mael Shocknail's plundering expedition into Munster in 982, recorded in the annals in his action in regards to this tree. The 4 masters say that Dal Caish was plundered by Mael Shocknail MacDonald, and the tree of Onuk Meg Éidir was cut after being dug from the earth with its roots. Dal Caish do Crane do Mael Shocknail MacDonald agus billa Onuk Meg Éidir da Taishcook Éirna Tókilt a Talván Cona Ferv Freemev. The annals of Inishfallen have simply, the tree of Mag Éidir was broken by Leth Cuan. Having 3 jobs. Ooh. Hello, Phoenix. It's nice to see you. How you doing? I'm sorry I couldn't find a fox. I haven't seen them. I did see a cute bunny recently though, so maybe I can show you that. I know I mentioned the fox that I often see them, but they're being sneaky this year it seems. I go over when there's new releases though. Pretty head. I see. I see. Sag. I'm sorry, Phoenix. I'll try my best to find the fox. I can. I'll search through my phone because I remember I used to send some. I can't remember who it was, but I used to like send people images of the foxes that I'd see around. They're so cute little guys. The hardest part is probably getting someone to vouch for you. Oh, jobs. Your unemployed ass is getting money. It's just spawning Haru out of thin air. You need to shower. Oh, did you just get a whiff and you're like, ugh. Sometimes that happens. Like after like a long gaming session, you finally like you just give a little and you go, oh, and you like run to the shower. Ever since I started using, it's only been a few days. It's only been like a week, but everything shower every day. I usually I have a shower. I have a shower every day, and I usually often have two showers because I'll like shower when I wake up, and I'll shower if I like go for a long walk or I go to the gym, which is usually most days. Sweaty boy, what the fuck? I'm sorry that I want to be clean, Haru. You won every day. Do you ever lose one? I don't lose the shower. It's kind of hard to lose the shower. Sometimes I drop my phone though in the shower. I put my shower like on the shower box to watch stuff while I shower, and sometimes it tilts and I panic and try and catch it. Knowing you might lose a shower. No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. I'm not that dumb. You're addicted. No, I like my music. I like my music in the shower. I like my silly Elder Scrolls music. Anyway, you can get through raffles. Oh, Vijin. Karaoke in the shower. It is an extraordinary insight into the vestiges of arcane symbolic belief still living and breathing in late 10th century Ireland. Just when we begin to think of these men as mere warlords bent on political advantage and answering to no imperative other than personal aggrandizement, we are brought back to another kind of reality, in which one warlord attempts to put manners on another not by way of battlefield, not by ransacking his estates or making off with his cattle or hostages, but by chopping down a tree, a sacred tree from which his opponent draws his very sovereignty, in the process seeking to deny his very legitimacy to rule. Brian is overlord of Leith Moga. If that was Mael Shocknail's expectation, it was to no purpose. The sacred tree was regrown, and as we have seen, the Billa of Mag Aether had to be cut down again by another invading army 70 years later. Man, they really hate that fucking tree. The least Mael Shocknail might have hoped for was that Brian would now know not to meddle beyond his own bailiwick. But seldom can a message have been more impudently disregarded, for his campaign seasons that followed were one of astonishing ambition on Brian's part. In 983, utterly ignoring the fact that his invasion of Osraig had been the casus belli that brought Mael Shocknail down on top of him, he again re-entered Osraig, captured its king Gilpatrick, ancestor of the Mac Gilpatrick or Fitzpatricks, harried the territory and took hostages as a sign of sovereignty and overlordship. Not only that, but the annals of Inishfallen say that Brian had first of all taken all the hostages of the Leinstermen. If this is true, and it has been doubted, it was a major development. It should be stressed that it is not recorded in the other annals, and may just be Munster wishful thinking. But then, especially at this early stage in his career, non-Munster sources have a tendency to actually ignore and downplay Brian's achievements. The fact that this episode is explicitly stated to have taken place in Magnaelba, in County Carlow, not the most prominent of places, adds a little more colour to what might otherwise appear to be a mere concocted formula. The Koga, needless to say, picked up the Inishfallen account, and duly noted that this alleged submission by the men of Leinster following that of Osraig, meant that Brian was thus the king of Leith Moga, Am Amlev Amleig Shin Bari Leithi Moga Brian. Karaoke in the shower, absolutely. You need to clean your room, clean it good, slow and steady. It is a case when you clean your room, oftentimes it's not as messy as it looks. You just gotta take your time, and it'll be cool, it'll be all good. Extremely sick and mentally not able to do any more work. Do your best, Lila. One could dismiss this as propaganda, except that the Koga then appends the credible detail that two of kings of Leinster came into his house, submitted to Brian, namely Donal Clohan and Tuathal, the king of the Western Liffey Plain, or Rig Iher Liffey. This act rings true, although Tuathal is an error for Dunleig mac Tuathal, ancestor of the Tuathal or O'Tooles, died as king of Muirdig and overking of Leinster in 958. As we know, the convention was that the title King of Leinster rotated among three different branches of the great dynasty of the Dinlaing. And so after Tuathal's death, it went first to an Ui Duncada prince, and then to an Felain claimant, before it reverted to Tuathal's son, Aguera, in 972. When Aguera was killed by the Norse of Dublin in 978, the title went to Donal Clohan of Duncada, the man who, the Koga claims, submitted to Brian in 983. That Donal Clohan might have felt compelled to do so is not in the least remarkable. He had only a brief and troubled reign. He was captured by the Norse in 979, shortly after assuming the role. His son, Browan, was also captured and then killed by them in 980. He secured his own release from captivity when Dublin was stormed by Mael Shocknail in 981. But in the very year in which he made his supposed submission to Brian, Donal Clohan, allied with the Norse of Waterford, was roundly defeated in battle by Mael Shocknail, who was allied with the Norse of Dublin. Presumably, it was this vulnerability that led him to submit to Brian that year, in the hope of some protection. You just put on some muick, scream through the whole ass street, and do me silly work. It's how I regulate your pressure. Good luck. And if Donal Clohan had been allied with the Waterford Norse in 983 when Mael Shocknail was linked to those of Dublin, it is surely relevant that the following year Brian too was in Waterford, forming an alliance aimed at an attack on Dublin. In other words, if Brian and Donal Clohan shared allies, the Waterford Norse, and enemies, Mael Shocknail and the Dublin Norse, it is not in the least unlikely that Donal Clohan had become Brian's man. Donal, however, was murdered by other rival Leinster dynasts, including the Chenslaig of South Leinster in 984, and it is perhaps not coincidental that Brian launched an invasion of Leinster at this point, coordinated with a strike by the Waterford Norse on the Chenslaig, retribution perhaps for their slaying of Donal Clohan. Sorry, I gotta stretch a little. Also, bearing in mind that regular tripartite alternation of the overkingship, because Donal Clohan was of the Ua Duncada, and because his immediate predecessor had been an Aguera Mactul of Ua Muirdig, the man who had considered himself the Rig Damna, the next in line was Mael Murtha Mac Murchada of Ua Felain, the king of Leinster who died opposing Brian at Clontarf. In such circumstances, one can imagine the Ua Muirdig claimant, Dunleig Mactul, throwing in his lot with Brian, on the off chance of inheriting the title himself. It was indeed the Ua Muirdig representative who, according to the Koga, joined Donal Clohan in submitting to Brian in 983, which seems far from impossible, or improbable. And if we are to believe this, then perhaps it is more reasonable to accept them than to reject the contention by the Inishfallen analyst that the weak and exposed kingdom of Leinster did indeed submit to Brian in 983, and perhaps we should imagine that it was at this point that Brian secured as his new wife Gormley, the recently widowed sister of Mael Morda of Ua Felen. Thank you, Haru, for the hydrate. I actually will go and... Do I have any water? I don't think I have any water, so I'll go fill it up real quick. I'll be back in 2 secondo. Where's my BRB text? There we go. Girl, why the fuck did you move? I actually was grabbing something and I just happened to do it at the exact time you poked me, so it wasn't even an intentional move. Get absolutely destroyed, Haru. Get dunked on. Let me take a sip now. Okay, I'm gonna make sure that's not anywhere where... No, don't put me in a sandwich. Don't put me in a sandwich. Why? Why in the sandwich? That's so mean. Fuck you, you can't escape this? I'm gonna get butter on my face. I had a really good sandwich today, by the way. It was just like... Sometimes you get sandwiches from the delis and they're like... I bet I would make a good sandwich. Look at me. Look how much sandwich. Look how much Ruadh you get in the sandwich. You get the entire head. No, you get the entire face. Yeah. Hello, Meister VT. Welcome in. Welcome in. My microphone is falling again. No. Stop it. There we go. I hope you're doing well, Meister. Girl, get yourself an... I know I need to. I really need to. After stream, I should do it first thing. Hello. Oh, that's cute. It's a cute heart. So, let's continue with our reading, though. I do apologize, guys, for, like, the weird names, and it's probably very difficult. Even at times, I'm finding it difficult to be like, wait, who's who again? Obviously, I know Ireland, so I have a rough idea of where things are. You guys, it's probably very difficult, but hopefully you're at least following, like, Brian's doing pretty well. Doing well. That's good to hear, Meister. Early moves against Leia Kuhn. I only know Brian. That's fair. My bad. That's alright, Haru. You're gonna fail the quiz later, but it is what it is. If you guys don't remember, Leia Kuhn is the north of Ireland. Not Northern Ireland, but literally the north half of Ireland. So let's continue. The implications are great. Within 7 years of succeeding his brother as Dalkesh, and with a career of more than 30 years still ahead of him, Brian had done what none of his ancestors before him had done, become Overking of all Leith Morga. The annals of Inishfallen certainly looked on Brian as the champion of the southern half facing into a contest with Ireland's northern half. Mael Shocknail's invasion of Dalkesh in 982 is summed up as simply the sacred tree of Mag Éireann being broken by Leith Cuan. As if Brian... Oh, excuse me a moment. I will have to be a little bit quieter. This should be okay. And if Brian did become the master of Leith Moga in 983, it would provide a context for his next most daring manoeuvre yet. In that year, Brian took the war into Leith Cuan. He brought with the annals what the annals called a large feat, or not large feat, large fleet, a Cobluk Moor, up the Shannon and launched an invasion against the Connaughta. Although not for the first time, the results were mixed. Among the casualties on his side were Mael Shocknail, a son of Brian's uncle Corsruck, and Loch Lane Mac Mael Shocknail, the Rig Damna of Corcum Ruadh in North Clare, and a certain Fionn, son of Dub Crone, whose father may have been Dub Crone of Ua Loch Gachéin, king of the Ua Figenti lineage of the Ua Cruanuk, or Cuanuk. So, if you guys recognize the name Mael Shocknail, that is not the individual that is the king of the southern Unail and the king of Tara at this time. These are other Mael Shocknails. Having disembarked, Brian sent his Suatric, his mercenary soldiers, overland into the territory of the Ua Briun, perhaps as far north as County Leitrim, where they inflicted slaughter and had slaughter inflicted on them. And this less than happy conclusion did not prevent him from venturing into Leith Cuan the following year, for which the Four Masters report that Brian undertook the ravaging of western Meath. If this is true, and it is not recorded in any other... Sorry, Daniel. You know what they say about large fleets? What do they say about large fleets? I don't know that one. I may have to end soon because I actually didn't realize the time. They're pretty scary. They are. I feel like that would be terrifying. They have big deck. Okay, that's that's pretty funny, Harry. That's a good play on words. I actually didn't clock that at all. I didn't clock the connection to deck. If this is true, and is not recorded in any other annal, the significance is not that this was the heartland of the High King. The significance is that this was the heartland of the High King, Mael Shocknail MacDonald, and it was a most daring act. Brian having been at the receiving end of just such an assault 2 years earlier, the victim was now the aggressor. The year 984 is also the one in which we first hear of Brian having anything to do with the men by whom he would eventually meet his end, the Norse of Dublin. That year a great fleet, led by the Mac Éireann, or Haraldsons, arrived in the Hiberno Norse town of Waterford, where they were joined by Brian. These men had a background in some unidentified islands off Britain's coasts, probably the Western Isles of Scotland, although there is considerable evidence for their involvement in the Isle of Man in Anglesey in North Wales. In 974, one of the brothers had been responsible for the capture and abduction overseas of Aymar of Limerick, the enemy of Dalkesh, whom Brian later killed immediately after his succession to the kingship, and so it is not altogether surprising to find the Mac Éireann turning up as friends of Brian in Waterford. And in 984, they exchanged hostages there as a guarantee of both together providing a hosting to go to Dublin. Cora. Oh, I cannot read that. That's too complicated. Haru and I share a brain cell today. You guys are always, all of you are always sharing like one or two brain cells at maximum. Maximum capacity is two. The Hiberno-Norse towns of Dublin was of course in Leinster, being situated on the south banks of the Liffey, which formed the province's northern frontier at this time. But Mael Shocknail had comprehensively overpowered the Dubliners at the Battle of Tara in 980, and had successfully laid siege to their town in the following year, so that it was very much in his pocket. Undoubtedly, Brian, as the new master of Leinster, regarded Dublin as subject to his overlordship, and the proposed expedition would have given effect to this, although no such assault seems to have materialized. Instead, we are told that the Munstermen assembled their army and marched to Maeg Lagan, in which was situated Slieve Merrick, the hilly plateau of Slieve Margie, County Laois, and in what seems to have been a coordinated strike, the foreigners overcame the Ua Chenslaig and, quote, they went over the sea. It is just possible that this means that the vanquished foes of the Ua Chenslaig were banished overseas, perhaps to a refuge in Wales, but it is more likely to mean that Maeg Arlet returned to their insular home after this campaign. In any event, it looks as though Brian, having gained the submission of the North Leinster provinces the previous year, was also now lord of those in the south of the province. The same annals go on to report that Brian's army devastated Osraig that year, laying waste its churches and fortresses along with those of Leinster, and that Brian released their king, Gilla Patrick, whom he had captured the previous year, doubtless because he was now pledged to be Brian's faithful adherent. You have two. One is used by Ruadh, the other by chat has to share. Exactly. Hello, Lila, back from your TikTok pause. I hope it was well. Casey, how dare you poke? I didn't even realize you poke me. How dare you? How dare you? Hello, Dracula Bite. TTV, welcome in. And name pronunciation, of course. My name is pronounced Ruadh Ua Quilta. Ruadh Ua Quilta. No, it was not good. Onyo. That's okay, though. Now things can improve. How much can they improve, though? We'll say they can improve for another 10 to 15 minutes. I hate myself, but that doesn't matter. That's okay, Lila. Internal opposition. By 985, Brian MacKennetig had enjoyed 9 years of extraordinary success as King of Dalkesh. While one or two of his more overconfident adventures had led to the needless loss of valued lieutenants, he had nonetheless firmly established his dominance over the now humbled Oanocta, appearing supreme throughout Munster, with control of the Viking-founded towns of Limerick and Waterford, whose fleets, more so than indigenous Dalkesh naval capacity, were ferrying his armed forces into campaign. He displayed little mercy towards a recalcitrant Osraig, although we must treat as a manifest indication of character his decision to imprison rather than execute its king, and to free him from when circumstances were right. This is surely suggestive of the wisdom and magnanimity that wins loyalty, as opposed to the overbearing brutality that only leads to begrudging obedience. You're gonna throw a lot of this stuff away tomorrow, not even looking at it. That can often be like one of the best feelings when you clear out something. You completely clear out like a wardrobe, and you just figure out all this, like half of this stuff is gone. It's no longer needed. I never wear it. It's ugly. It's why did I ever buy that? It's fucking torn. It can often feel very freeing to do that. I need to do that soon, actually. Especially with summer coming up, it will be a good time. He had extended his sway into Leinster by a mixture of war and diplomacy, choosing allies carefully and identifying and dealing militarily with those who were less amenable. And he had even begun to test the possibilities of broadening his sphere of influence by dispatching an expeditionary force into North Connacht. And it seemed that he taunted even the great Overking of Unail, Mael Shocknail MacDonald, by sending a raiding party into his mensal lands in Meath, hitting him where it hurt. Donate Unk. I do. Don't worry. Oftentimes, if it's perfectly good clothing, it does get donated. I will not donate my Unk. You will donate your uncle. Just not his body for science. Like, oh, I'm going to donate my uncle for research of this disease. Nope, he gets sold to the U.S. Army and exploded with a rocket, as happened to that one woman. Fucked up, dude. It's actually like that's actually like disgusting that happened. A guy whose mother died of, I think it was, I can't remember what it was, but she died of a disease. He donated her body for like research into that disease, but the contract allowed them to use the body as they wish, and they just sold the body to the US Army, who used it for their own explosive research. If he's nice, donate him to me so I can have a cool uncle. Hell yeah. Yeah, Lila, give Kaleido your uncle. Donate him to me, I need a maid. That's, Harrow needs a maid though. That's also kind of hard. That's a good choice, that's a good donation. It was all astonishingly successful, but then in mid-980s, we begin to see signs of vulnerability, weakness and danger. It began in 985 when the people known as the Déisi Mumon in County Waterford and in South Tipperary, who was vassals of the King of Munster, should now have been loyally subject to Brian, launched a raid on Brian's mercenaries, making off with 300 cows. There must have been more to it than this jejune entry reveals, because Brian's response was a full-scale invasion of Déisi territory in revenge. Idrestar Brian na Déisi da Digal, so that he chased Donal, son of Phelan, as far as Waterford, and the whole of the Déisi was destroyed. Agus Cora Loeta na Déisi Illa. The Koga is evidently speaking of this incident, as it reproduces some of the same language, when it adds of Donal, king of the Déisi, ancestor of the Ua Phelan, Phelans and Whelans, that Brian banished from Waterford the man who had forced the war on him. This, then, was no mere cattle-bustling raid, but a rebellion which had been repressed and required, but a rebellion which had required suppression. Vaguely, research can mean anything, and some bad actors take advantage of that. Good night, Casey. Have a good sleep. He's gonna clean the walls. Then this guy can't pick up a towel because of his back. Yeah, Harrow, give him like one of those long squeegee sticks, and then he can do it from sitting down. He'll be fine. The Koga then adds, as if it happened immediately thereafter, that Brian took the hostages of all Munster and of all the main churches of Munster, that they should not receive outlaws or robbers in the churches. Rogab Bragati Erds Kel Mumon na Fagbatis Merlig na Fogli Edins na Caleb. But this is the episode that is recorded in the Annals of Inishfallen as occurring 2 years after, in 987, to the effect that there was a hosting of Brian MacKennedy across Desmoor, and he took the hostages of Lismore, Cork and Emly, for the banishment of robbers and lawless people from them. It is not entirely clear what this was about. These churches were hugely powerful institutions. They had extensive estates, populated by their own tenants, that were not beyond putting armies into action to protect their interests. Don't poke me, Fox. How dare you? Also, hello, Foxes. Nice to see you. Get away from me. You're tired and relaxed. Well, that's the best time to go to sleep. I often make the mistake of like getting really tired then using my phone for a little bit, and then waking completely up in bed. It's the worst. Get him a nice support pillow for his back too. It might be just, but I sync pain with people around me depending on what kind of pain it is. Oh, I think a part of that is probably you just becoming hyper aware of that part of your body, seeing them being in pain there. I have that happen sometimes. I have that thing as well. I don't know if I get this thing where sometimes if I see something that looks uncomfortable or painful or just not nice, I get this like tingling up the back of my legs. It like goes from, it usually starts at like the lower portion of my thigh and like works up the back, and like it's just like an uncomfortable tingle. I haven't gotten it in a while though. Probably good. Haven't seen it. Haven't seen anything that's required it. I hope you're doing well, Fox. We're just doing a little bit of reading. I need to be quiet. I am finishing up in probably 10 minutes, I would say. We'll see how much of this we can get done. That could be it, actually, because if it's not a type of pain I already experience, I don't sink. Oh, interesting. When I hear someone scream at someone, I get the nose tingle. Yeah, when you're about to cry. Let me see your full model. Fine. There you go. Oh, wait, I have to move myself up a little. There you go. Look how much taller I am than Brua. Brua, you're kind of small. This is a little Ruru. Handsome. Thank you, Meister. Thank you. Why didn't you call me handsome earlier? My face was in full view, actually. You see my knees, you see my feet, you see my thighs, and suddenly you're like, handsome. Them handsome knees. Exactly. My mama did cook with those knees, and he gave me a nice little scar too. Where were we? There's something low-key cunty about the tunic. Face is nice too. Of course it is. Thank you. I don't know. It slays. It's cool as hell. Like really, what you're saying, because this is based off of medieval Ireland. Now, of course, it doesn't look as good when you don't have the full garb, but this is based off of like old Irish clothing, balena, the big flowy sleeves. So clearly, the silhouette is elegant. Thank you. I do like it. I do love it. He's naked underneath. You don't know that. You haven't seen under there. None of you have seen under there. Wait, actually, there was that one art. There was that one art. So you may have seen under it. Well, you saw through it, not under it. But I was washing, so it doesn't count. I was in the river. That he likes a breeze. Exactly. It's nice to be cool. In Discord, guys. He's naked under his clothing, guys. Yeah, did you guys know you're all naked under your clothing? Fucking whores. Did you guys know there's a skeleton under your body? There's a skeleton inside you right now. Do you ever think about that? Do you ever think about the fact that there is actually a skeleton? Like, you have meat, the muscles, and there's a skeleton. Like, your skeleton. It's fucked up. Sometimes it pops into my head and I start picturing myself, like, removing parts of me and like what I look like underneath. It's I bet you shower naked, you salute. Yes, of course. Oh, but I always thought, I know the Simpsons did this. They had like a massage or like a jacuzzi suit, and it was like it was like it's like a suit that covers your body and it just has warm water around you. Why are you imagining yourself getting taken apart, you weirdo? This is like under your skin and muscles lay the bone zone. That's right, guys. We're going to the bone zone. Anyway, let me get a little bit closer because there's not much left on this section. So I'm just going to finish this, and then we'll finish off this chapter next stream, I think. But I don't think we're going to get too much further. Now, where were we? Oh, yeah. So the churches were not against putting armies into action to protect themselves. Finish you. Shush you. In the case of Lismore, Cork, and Emily in 987, Brian may simply have been acting as a responsible secular leader, anxious to ensure that church sanctuary was not being exploited to society's disadvantage by undesirables. But even this terse annal entry makes it clear that Brian had come to Des Mumu, or South Munster, at the head of an army, and in some respects as king of two of the Mumu, North Munster, butting in where he might not have been welcome. And if an army was needed for this business, and hostages had to be extracted from the churches as an earnest of their future good conduct, it begins to seem likely that these three great churches were bastions of opposition to Brian, sheltering opponents of his regime, and that Brian was in the business of crushing dissension. When, therefore, we read in the same annals 3 years later that Marchon, son of Kennetig, took the abbacy of Emly, we might see it in more than a bit of a run-of-the-mill church news. Emly was the most prestigious church in all of Munster, very closely associated with its former Owenucht kings. But even so, it is very rare for the annals to announce the election of its abbot. In this case, however, the new abbot was Brian's brother, and this, therefore, is a political appointment if ever there was one. Evidently, Brian was ensuring that it never again became a focus of dissent by handing its governance to someone on whom he could rely on. Now that he was entirely free from threats within his family at this stage in his career. Now he was entirely free from threats from within the family at this stage of his career. As we know, the only reason Brian made it to the kingship of Dal Caish is because his older brother, Mathgamon, was murdered while king in 976. Mathgamon had his own family, and had he lived longer he would no doubt have groomed a successor from among them, leaving Brian and his sons as mere Rigdamnai, men eligible for the kingship, but denied it by circumstances. One can imagine, therefore, the bitterness felt by Mathgamon's son Aidh, who did indeed die in 1011, with the prestigious honorific title of Rig Damna Cashel. That his father's early death gave Brian and his offspring the opening to grab the title for themselves, denying Aidh the succession, probably because he was not yet of age. But when Aidh came of age, that resentment seemed to have spurred him to work to undermine his uncle's rule. Because we hear that in 986, a full decade after the death of his father Mathgamon, Aidh was taken into captivity by his uncle. Aidh Mac Mathgamon, the Cumric Labrian Mac Kennethig. No further information is given, and we can do no more than speculate that Aidh had become a thorn in Brian's side at this juncture, a time, as we have seen, when Brian's vulnerabilities were being exposed on more than one front. Incidentally, one thing the episode does demonstrate is Brian's magnanimity. As in every other contemporary country, a normal way of dealing with familial opposition was to dispatch the irritant to his maker, and even lenient Irish kings would casually blind an opponent to render him unfit to rule. But no such fate befell Aidh Mathgamna, who lived for another quarter of a century, and as noted, died as one of the eligible for the kingship of Cashel in his own house in 1011. And then the next section is the resumption of raids against Leith Cuan. So again, Brian attempted to expand his influence beyond Munster and the southern half of Ireland into the High Kings region. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there for today. Yeah, I think that seems good to me, because it's getting kind of late and I need to be in bed pretty soon. I'm going to take a sip of water though, because it's my throat, I can feel it. Me when the skeleton doesn't weigh a ton. False. That's fucking stupid, Meister, and I liked it. It's Friday tomorrow. I'm picturing you, Haru, like that cat that like jumps in the air clapping. Thank you so much for the stream. Thank you guys so much for joining me. It's always appreciated. It's always nice to be able to chill out and read. I'm still wondering if I stick this if I still stick with this in ASMR, if I move to reading and writing. I'm never sure. But yappity yap. I'm going to raid us out somewhere. Now, where are we going to raid out? No, that's ear licking. We won't raid into ear licking. You mean writing and reading? No, I mean reading and writing. How dare you? That's another liquor. Sorry guys, this might take a moment or two. I'm trying to raid into someone that isn't tonguing the microphone. It's fine if you're into that, but I don't want to raid you guys into that. Celio. Do I know this person? Wait, is this ear massage, or are they doing what I think? Oh no, that is in fact the glurp gok, as Haru so wonderfully puts it. Mm, mm. What's Fua playing? Because Fua's kind of soft spoken. Fua's very soft spoken. Oh god, wait, is he playing is Fua playing like a horror game? He does that from time to time. It looks like a horror game. Yeah, I know, that's a horror game. I don't want to rate it. It's because I'm doing like ASMR. I hate reading into things that like aren't relaxing and suitable for ASMR. You know, it's like a weird thing with me. Oh wait, hang on. Oh, this is like a 3D model ASMR. I love these. I love the visual triggers they can do. So we're gonna read into Maruka Ko. Ooh, I think she's doing some happy right now because that sounds like happy. Very pretty model. I like the crown. I like the crown on their head. But yeah, I'm gonna raid off into them. Thank you, Haru, for doing the sub raids. I still need to change. I need to change those emotes to something. Will she blow in your ear? Maybe. I like ear blowing. Ear blowing is like one of my favorite triggers. You guys know I've spoken about this before. But yeah, we're gonna raid off into them. Thank you guys for showing up. And yes, Fox, I do miss Wolfie's ear blowing. Give it a Mila Mahugat and Slong Gafol. And I will see you guys next